Hello, Chris Green here with the Flood Insurance Guru. If you've got questions about flood insurance, flood education, flood zone changes, elevation certificates, click below to visit our website, floodinsuranceguru.com. You can also check out our daily flood education videos on our YouTube channel. Remember, we have an educational background on flood mitigation, which means we can help you understand flood risks like this right here, your flood insurance, and mitigating your property long term to help you minimize flood losses and flood premiums. Crap! The Hollywood community in Charleston County, South Carolina has been suspended from the National Flood Insurance Program. Now what? That's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get started, remember, if you've got questions about flood education, flood zone changes, and flood insurance, make sure to click below to visit our website, floodinsuranceguru.com. So today we're talking about the recent changes that came to Hollywood, South Carolina with a lot of the Charleston, South Carolina area, and these were the new flood maps. You know, you had some good changes, some bad changes, and you had some ugly changes. Today we're going to talk about one of the ugly changes that actually doesn't have much to do with the flood maps. It has to do with floodplain management guidelines. And that is that the Hollywood community did not meet those guidelines when it came to state regulations and the National Flood Insurance Program. So as a result, the community was suspended from the program. So what exactly does this mean? Well, this means that as National Flood Insurance Programs come up for renewal, those policies are going to be non-renewed as long as that suspended status is there. Now, the community is in the process of getting this suspended status removed as they provide the proper documentation. But if you're purchasing a house, you're not going to be able to get flood insurance through the National Flood Insurance Program as long as that status is there. If a disaster occurs, like a hurricane can in this area, disaster assistance isn't going to be available in this community. So these are all some things that are going to happen with the change in Hollywood, South Carolina. But does that mean that flood insurance is not available in this community at all? No. Private flood insurance does not necessarily go by these regulations. Some do and some don't. So it's important to understand that this doesn't mean you won't be able to get flood insurance at all. So what about when the suspension is lifted? What if you want to go back to the National Flood Insurance Program? Are you going to have to wait a full year like you would if you had a National Flood Insurance Program policy? Not necessarily. When you take out that private policy, pay attention to the guidelines on what's called minimum earned premium or the cancellation policy. You might have 25%, you might have 50%, you might have 75%. This is going to let you know about the time frame that you'll have to wait before going back over, before losing a lot of money. So if you've got questions about all these changes that are happening in Hollywood, South Carolina, click below to visit our website, floodinsuranceguru.com. Remember, we have an educational background in flood mitigation, which means we can help you understand flood risks like this right here. Your flood insurance and mitigating your property long term. Thank you.